So, have you signed the contract? Chandler Scott groaned, pressing his ice-cold beer bottle against his forehead. No, I haven't. What? Tom huffed sharply. Dude, come on. Tom, back off. Mark's tone was low and calm, soothing even against the background noise of chatter and country music. Back off? Tom's voice didn't have quite the same effect. The whole shop is waiting on him. If you don't sign, then none of us are going to be on the show. Maybe he doesn't want to be on the show, Mark growled. Maybe? Chandler lowered his beer bottle and exhaled. There's no maybe about it. Fuck that show. Tom slammed his own drink down, making Chandler and Mark jump. Are you serious? This is a huge opportunity for all of us. One of my buddies was on a show like this last year, and he gets calls every fucking day from people wanting to hire him. They're throwing money at him. Chandler gritted his teeth. He'd come here to get a nice buzz so he could think over this whole situation without the day's stress knotting his muscles and churning his stomach. Tom was not helping. Look, he said after a moment, I'm not saying no. I just need to think about it. What is there to think about? Tom threw up his hands. Nothing's even going to change, except there'll be cameras all over the shop. Chandler shuddered. The cameras had already been installed so the network could film the garage at work. If the entire shop didn't sign the contract to be on the show, then the footage would be used for a few montages of shops that didn't make the cut. Everyone, including Chandler, had already signed releases authorizing that much. But the show itself? 2 entire seasons? Possibly more, of cameras in their faces and ridiculous challenges as they competed with another garage to build outlandish vehicles and restore barely salvageable cars? Everyone had signed except Chandler. And if he didn't sign, the show didn't go on because the producers had emphatically stated from the beginning that he wasn't optional. No Chandler, no show. From day one, he'd been told it was because he was the best mechanic they'd seen in all their auditions, that he could work miracles on engines, transmissions, and even bodywork. Chandler had been flattered. He took tremendous pride in his skills, but he wasn't fooled. They didn't want him because of what he could do with his hands. They wanted him because he and Jim, the shop's owner, couldn't go more than a few days without an explosive screaming match. That would be fantastic for ratings, and they all knew it. Especially Jim. From the moment the cameras had been set up in the shop, he'd cranked things up and made sure the two of them struck sparks off each other at every possible turn. In the bar, as Tom and Mark watched him silently, Chandler took another deep swallow of beer. Guilt mixed with frustration in his stomach. The whole shop was counting on him to come through with this. Everyone knew this kind of exposure would be spectacular, and it might be the ticket each one of them needed to get the hell out of that toxic garage in this stupid one-horse town. But this monkey had been tired of dancing even before the TV show had been a possibility. Chandler had written and rewritten his 2 weeks' notice a few dozen times. Each time, he'd chickened out, though, because he had no other prospects. And now the pressure was on. The producers had backed him into a corner this morning. It was Tuesday, and he had until the following Monday to sign the contract, or the cameras, the crew, and this massive opportunity were leaving and never coming back. The ultimatum was no secret either, and for the rest of the day, his coworkers and his bastard of a boss had been on his ass to sign already. A gentle nudge on his insole shook him out of his thoughts. He shifted his gaze toward Mark, who offered a slight smile as he ran the toe of his sneaker up the side of Chandler's ankle. Chandler had long ago mastered the art of not shivering or squirming when Mark subtly touched him in public, but it was a struggle tonight.